Good evening, everyone. This is Dr. Schilling with Sequoia Health, bringing you this week's Wednesday Wellness Minutes. And this week we're going to touch on a topic that's near and dear to the hearts of all the women that are part of our clinic family, as well as everyone around the world, and that is mammography versus the alternatives. Mammography, if you're not familiar with it, what it is a system of doing basically an X-ray or that type of energy check on the breast to see if there are any lumps or masses or anything that might be affecting the tissue. Now, what is it for? Of course, it's used as a breast cancer screen. Now, why would you want to screen for it by doing what is known as compressing the breast and then putting ionizing radiation into it? If you know anything about ionizing radiation, it's generally not recommended for your overall health, but if you get enough exposure to it, you can actually have cancer develop in your body at a greater rate than would normally happen. If you paid attention or attended our live session from last week, we talked about a little bit about cancer in general and how to avoid it. Radiation exposure is definitely not a way to avoid it. It is generally not considered safe in this day and age. There are a lot of studies that are coming out to describe the effects of mammography and what it does to the breast tissue. We'll go a little bit more into that. It's potentially more harmful than is good, and it has shown no effectiveness at decreasing mortality versus an annual breast exam or a regular check a woman might do on her own. So considering that some of the risks associated with mammography are false positives. So you can have an artifact or something on the film that looks like something, and then they say, well, we don't know what it is, we suspect it might be something, so they go in there and they start biopsying. Well, what does biopsying do? It cuts the tissue, takes tissue out, and then leaves scar tissue behind. Well, it's well known that scar tissue can lead to the development of corrupting DNA of cells around it, which could lead to potentially developing things like cancer and things like that. It can also result in a false negative, which means they might miss something, and you might have a false sense of security based on what your doctor might be telling you because of the radiation tech that was looking at the film or the doctor reviewed it couldn't see anything. So that's also a risk, a false negative. As we mentioned, the ionizing radiation is very critical to avoid as much as you can. Avoid x-rays, mammography, and things like that because it's just radiation in your body. It has to then detox out of your body. We'll touch more about that later. We did mention the breast compression. Think about if you happen to have a cyst or some other collection of cells in there and you go and compress it and then x-ray it. Well, the compression is in and of itself potentially going to cause disruption of the tissue, could break a cyst, could actually cause invasive cells to migrate into other areas. So keep that in mind as an issue with that. Alternatives to mammography are most notably known to be thermography, which means basically taking an infrared camera and looking at the breast tissue and understanding where the heat signature is. Of course, cancer is a very metabolically active, which means it's using a lot of energy. So it's going to, on a film for thermography, it's going to show up as red spots, red or yellow or orange. Definitely not blue or yellow or things like that that are showing less energy. You're looking for the red hot spots when you're doing thermography. It has been shown to be just as effective, 97% as a matter of fact, in determining the difference between malignant and benign, because it can tell based on the heat signature of the tissue that's being viewed. That is then the impetus for sending to a medical doctor to say, we should get this tissue biopsied to make sure that it's not a problem. It could be just a blocked duct or something like that, but let's make sure that it's not. Let's do a more thorough exam physically and go from there. The Swiss and French governments have actually considered banning it outright in the EU. So we want to make sure we understand the implications and how that affects your overall health. Thermography has been shown to be 100% safe. There are no adverse effects on it. It's an infrared camera that looks at the heat signature of your breast tissue versus actually compressing and ionizing radiation on there. How do we prevent cancer in the breast to begin with? First of all, you want to have a healthy liver. Okay? A lot of breast cancers are related to estrogen overload, and estrogen overload can come from within our body. Therefore, if in women, the ovaries and the uterus are producing too much estrogen and the liver cannot process it out, that will then become recirculated back to the system and then can get lodged in tissues which are highly associated with estrogens, which are the breast, the ovaries, and the uterus. Certainly avoiding toxic chemicals. Women, of course, apply a lot more products to their bodies than men do, generally speaking. I think the average is 12, something to that extent. A lot of them have toxic exposure. So if you want to be aware of that and understand that those are called xenoestrogens, so environmental estrogens, toxic estrogens. You'll want to partner yourself with a company like Beauty Count or something like that that is going to sell products that are guaranteed to not have cancer-causing agents in there. And they've been verified, and they're actually lobbying for Congress to have stricter standards and actually, I should say, enforce standards on the beauty industry because right now there are virtually none. Eating from the rainbow, we talked about that last week, getting the antioxidants in your body to quench those free radicals, get the cancer-causing Tasmanian devils out of your body, if you will. I like to call them Tasmanian devils because they just wreak havoc. So the free radicals are just breaking down tissue, causing damage. You need to eat the rainbow so your body can quench those and get them out. Exercise, of course, is fantastic. Helps you sweat, clears out your lymph glands, gets toxins out of your body, replenish that with hydration and things like that. And then, of course, as we mentioned last week, resolving conflicts in life. And some of them you've inherited, some of them have happened during your lifetime, but understand that breast is oftentimes related to worry, rather. It can be related to arguments in the family, between friends, coworkers, things like that. It can also be related to separation. And a lot of them for women, of course, because women are nurturing, it's related to nest issues. And nest issues can be children, partners, pets, spouses, workplaces, things like that. So if you know someone that's under an immense amount of pressure and worry at their work, that's detrimental to their health and could possibly manifest in the breast tissue. Everybody's different. Everybody has different neurology. Everybody has different biochemistry. Some people detox very well. Some people don't detox very well. So just keep that in mind. We certainly hope this has been beneficial for you. Remember, prevention is the cure. Always prevent things as much as possible. If you have questions about how to prevent it or what to do to get your liver healed up and cleaning out all the toxins that are coming in, all 270,000 a day, or how we can safely get your estrogens out of your body, give us a call, send us an email, send information through the website so we can get that information to you so you can start taking preventative measures. Please make a comment below. Let us know what topics are of interest to you, how we can enhance your life, how we can empower you to take your life and your health into your own hands and be proactive about your life. We'll look forward to seeing you next Wednesday for the Wednesday Wellness Minute.